Hi, I'm Katie Tam. I'm a health coach at Logansport Memorial Hospital, and today I'm going to be talking with you about packing a healthy lunch. So we're going to get into why it's important to pack a lunch more often than eating out, then what constitutes a healthy lunch, and then how to pack a lunch, meaning more along the lines of like what are some ideas, some recipes, some snack ideas. There are quite a few different reasons for packing a healthy lunch, but one of the main reasons why we usually suggest packing a healthy lunch is that you can control what goes into it. So a lot of times when you're eating out, those meals tend to be oversized, very high in calories, higher in fat, higher in sodium. So, and then usually not enough fruits and vegetables or fiber. Even a lot of added sugar in a restaurant type of meal. So when you're making your own, you can control what goes into it. So you can make sure you have a fruit or a vegetable. You can make sure you're using a whole grain. You can get more protein in your meal. You can mess with the size of your meal so you can control how many calories are going in. So that's one of the main reasons, is just you can control the nutrition of it versus what you would get out to eat. And then right now, more than ever, the cost of eating out has jumped up quite a bit. So it's going to be cheaper to pack your own lunch most days of the week versus eating out. Even dollar menus now, when you go out to eat, are no longer dollar menus. So I know I've had a few people kind of argue that even packing your own lunch is expensive because you're buying healthier fruits and vegetables, healthier foods. But that's not always the case. When you actually do the cost breakdown, it is still cheaper to pack your lunch if possible. So getting into what actually constitutes a healthy lunch. It's going to look balanced, it's nutritious, and it's satisfying. So this choosemyplate.gov is the best representation of what a balanced meal would look like. So half your plate or half your meal is going to be fruits and vegetables. And then a quarter of it will be a grain of some sort. And then a quarter of it will be a protein, and then having some dairy as well as some fat, healthy fat added in there. So that's going to give you the balanced and the nutritious. And then the satisfying aspect of it is just making sure that you're eating foods that you actually enjoy. Sometimes when I'm health coaching, I hear a lot of people talking about eating things that they just don't really like, or they're not including some of their favorite foods because they fear that they are unhealthy. So there's still, those foods are still part of a balanced diet, a varied diet. So it is important to be including foods that you actually enjoy eating. Otherwise, you'll never stick with this type of thing. One of the first ones that we talked about was fruits and vegetables being part of a balanced diet. So the recommended amount of fruits and vegetables in a day is 5 servings. When you're packing your own lunch, it's a lot easier to get up to that 5 servings a day because you can make sure you include it. And I mentioned earlier, it is really hard to go out to eat and get any type of fruit or vegetable included in your meal. So this is one easy way to get at least 1 or 2 servings of that recommended amount in for the day. Fruits and vegetables are great because they contain fiber, they're low in calories, and they also contain phytochemicals, which can help with increasing antioxidants, removing free radicals in our body. There's a lot of research around fruits and vegetables, including those. So you want to make sure that you are including a variety of fruits and vegetables. Obviously, if there's certain ones you like and you eat those on a regular basis, that's fine. But the more we can get some extra colors in there, the better. But it doesn't matter if you're choosing fresh, frozen, or canned. This is really a preference up to you. Fresh obviously can go bad quicker. Frozen, it's flash frozen at the time that it is the freshest, so it's not a bad option if you want to go that route. And then canned, for both fruits and vegetables, you just want to make sure for the vegetables you're getting low sodium options and rinsing them with water before you use them. And if you're going to do canned fruit, making sure it's in its own juice or packed in water. A lot of times you'll see heavy syrup or light syrup. That's where that added sugar comes into play. So if we can avoid that or limit that, that's better. Lots of different ways to get fruits and vegetables in outside of just eating them plain. You can add them to your salad. You can put, it with oatmeal or yogurt, or you can make an omelet with veggies. You can hide it in sauces. Like I put a lot of extra veggies in my spaghetti sauce. I'll even do it in my sloppy joe sauce. So lots of different ways to get those in. And really, it doesn't matter if it's fresh, frozen, or canned. And then lean proteins. So this is where we get into the fat content. So if you are someone that struggles with, I should say fat and sodium content. If you're someone that struggles with high blood pressure, high cholesterol, then this would be something to focus on a little bit more. If you have no family history of heart issues, or don't deal with either one of those, then you could probably get away with eating higher fat protein. But on the right hand side there, you'll see some different options: low fat dairy, eggs, salmon, tuna, making sure that we're grilling and baking these things instead of frying them. Chicken, beans, peas. If you are a vegetarian, you can go more towards the tofu side of things, and then nuts and seeds or things like peanut butter. These things are going to have healthier fats in them and not as many saturated or trans fat in them. On the left-hand side there, you can see things like full-fat dairy products are going to be higher in saturated fat. Fattier cuts of red meat like prime rib, cold cuts, so things like salami, pepperoni, hot dogs, sausages, ham, bacon. Those things are going to have higher sodium content and higher fat content. And then I'm going to talk about it later, but there are, trans fat is going to be found in things like commercially baked goods and like fast food. So the next one here is whole grains. And like I said, we want to make sure that about a fourth of our plate is a whole grain of some sort. And on the right hand side there, again, we have some good options. So 100% whole wheat bread, flour, and it could be whole grain bread or whole wheat bread, whole grain pasta. There's all sorts of options now for this in the grocery store. One of my favorites, I use Barilla, but there are I think Banza is another one. So and you can get probably the store brand as well. So a lot of different options when it comes to pasta. Oatmeal, quinoa, brown rice. You could do like orzo. You could do bulgur, barley, ground flaxseed. There's high fiber cereals. So lots of different options when it comes to whole grains. The ones on the left hand side there are the ones that you kind of want to watch out for. So white bread, any type of like cakes, cookies, muffins, granola bars, white refined flour, white rice. Those things are going to shoot your blood sugar up, and they don't necessarily help as well as whole grains do with appetite control. So the frozen waffles and pancakes, there are whole grain options out there now, like Kodiak, Vans, that you could do as a breakfast option instead of just like an Eggo brand or just a brand that's made with white or refined flour. So fat and healthy fat is good in the sense that it can help with keeping us satisfied, appetite control, but also things like heart health. So if you are someone that struggles with high cholesterol numbers, healthy fats can actually help with lowering those. So good healthy fats are like avocados, olives, olive oil, nuts and seeds, things like peanut butter, almond butter, fattier fish like salmon, flaxseed oil. So there are some different options there. I usually use fat in the form of like a dressing when I'm making my meals, when I try to add stuff like that, unless I'm having fish of some sort. But usually my dips or my dressing contain the fat that I'm going to have in my meal. The fat that we want to try to avoid are saturated and trans fat. So again, you're going to find a lot of saturated fat in our cheese and our meat, our full fat cheese and our like red meats that are on the fattier side. Also, you'll find it in things like creamer, sour cream, butter. So if we can substitute in those areas, that would be great. You're going to find trans fat in things like fried foods, baked goods, pastries, processed foods, going out to eat. Most of those foods are going to have both of those types of fats in them. And I already got into the healthy fats a little bit more, or on that last slide, but just to get into it a little bit more, the monounsaturated fats, that's the one that can help with reducing your bad cholesterol. You can see the examples there of foods that can help with lowering that. Then polyunsaturated fats can also reduce bad cholesterol. And again, you'll find them in things like fish, walnuts, soybean oil. And then there's omega-3 fatty acids. So these can decrease triglyceride levels, arrhythmias. You'll find those in mainly fish. And then I already talked a little bit about unhealthy fats, but again, I just want to iterate on how consuming them regularly at a high rate can increase total cholesterol, your bad cholesterol, your triglycerides, and then trans fat can actually lower your HDL. So you're going to find those in, again, a lot of fast food, fried foods, foods that contain partially hydrogenated oils, cakes, pastries, foods that are like snacky and higher in sodium. So these things we want to try to limit as much as we can. And when we're packing our own lunch, it is a little easier to limit those. So let's get into how to pack a healthy lunch. So the easiest thing that I can tell you to do is to just do some meal planning. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I'm talking just taking a look at the week ahead and seeing what might be realistic for you. So it's a lot easier when you think about these things ahead of time and kind of have a game plan that is flexible versus just trying to come up with something on the fly every single night. You might spend a little more time initially coming up with a plan, but again, it's done, you can get it out of the way. So once you get an idea of what you are wanting to do for the week, you can select your recipes or select your ideas. Make sure you have whatever you need in the pantry or shop for some of the ingredients that you might need, and then prep the food. So again, the benefits do include less time throughout the week. You are going to be able to save some money because you can plan ahead, and you're making sure that your meals are balanced and nutritious. So this is just a sample meal plan. This is pretty in-depth. This is not necessary if you don't want to do this, but like I said, if you're someone that thrives on having this type of structure, that is great. But what I want to point out is, the fact that these people are repeating a lot of their same snacks or meals, and the meals are easy. They're utilizing leftovers. Their meals are balanced, so you can see that they have like a whole wheat version of things. They have dairy in there. They have fruits and vegetables. They have healthy fats. They even have on there that they're going to go out with friends, or they're going out on a date night, so they're able to still get satisfying meals in. So this is kind of what I'm suggesting people at least think about. Take some time to look at your schedule and see where you might be able to pack your lunch, or where you might be able to maybe utilize leftovers for a lunch the next day. This is another sample meal plan. So you can see that these are much less structured. So again, you got to do what works best for you. And one of them there is more so making a list and plating their meals at the same time. They've already checked their pantry to see what they might need at the store. I'm going to skip over the shopping for ingredients slide, and I'm going to get into prepping for the food. This is just, where you take, again, some time to get your ingredients together and have them ready to go. It's just, again, going to save you some time so you're not having to do this every night. There are different ways to go about this. There are people who will just do some batch cooking. They will have a recipe, they will double or they will triple it, and they will have leftovers for the entire week. Some people will even do this and freeze food so it doesn't go bad and they don't have to eat it all week. So maybe they'll batch cook 2 meals, something along those lines. There are people that will take the time to portion out their meals and have them in Tupperware ready to go. So that is a little more in-depth. It takes a little bit more time. If you like to do that, by all means, go for it. And then there's just prepping ingredients. So this one would just be coming home, maybe cutting up your fruits and your vegetables, having them ready to go in containers, and you can pull them out and create meals based off of that. It could be cooking your chicken all at once, or maybe browning up some ground meat for the week. And then again, you can adjust what you want to eat for the week by just pulling out the ingredients and then throwing them together. You could cook maybe some rice and have it ready for the week. So you could do a combination of all 3 of these things. You could do a couple, you could do one. It just takes some trial and error to figure out how you want to go about prepping some food and having it ready to go. Some helpful things to have: a planner, some containers, whatever cooking medium you'd like to use. So I definitely use like my Instant Pot a lot. I use the crock pot occasionally. You can have lunch bags, silicone bags, any type of utensils or cookware. I know I freeze a lot of stuff, so I have it ready to go and it doesn't go bad in my fridge. And then one of the helpful tips there is just make it fun. A lot of times if I know I'm going to be cooking some food for the week, I will have like an easy meal. That might be the time that I actually order out food, or maybe I have a frozen pizza ready to go, so I don't have to worry about making myself a meal on top of my meals for the week. I listen to a podcast almost every time I do any type of meal prepping or cooking. You can get your kids involved, but maybe that wouldn't be so fun. But any way that you can make it a little more enjoyable for yourself will help the process go a little bit smoother. So let's get into some lunch ideas. These pictures are, they're not quite balanced on all of them. This might be something that somebody takes for, a couple days worth, but we're going to do some more balanced type of meals here. So one easy way to go about creating a nutritious and satisfying meal is to pick something from each category here. So for example, you could pick chicken, brown rice, maybe skip over the fruits and do some peppers and onions and tomatoes, and add some avocado on top and give it some like taco seasoning or fajita seasoning, and you've got yourself a chicken burrito bowl. For breakfast, you could do like an egg with, or eggs with some whole grain, pancakes with some strawberries and blueberries, and you could top your pancake with some peanut butter. I guess that doesn't, I said breakfast, I know we're talking about healthy lunches, but you could actually eat breakfast for lunch if you omitted the eggs, because I don't like to heat up eggs for lunch, but you could do waffles or pancakes for lunch and it would be just fine. Same thing, you could do ground beef with some whole grain pasta, have a side of a salad, and top your salad with kind of an oil-based dressing, and the pasta with the ground beef could be spaghetti. Right there you would have a balanced meal that would hit on all of the different things that we need to create a balanced meal. And my tip here is recreate healthier versions of your favorite fast food or takeout foods. I do this more so for breakfast than anything. Like an egg McMuffin, I could create my own egg McMuffin at home for a fraction of the cost. So same type of deal here. If there's something that you really enjoy eating out, try to create it yourself. Some other ideas to explore, wraps or sandwiches. So I know a lot of times it's easy for me to throw together a sandwich, some raw fruits and veggies, and I'm good to go. But you could, again, like for example, these wraps or sandwiches, sometimes I will draw inspiration from Panera Bread and I will try to recreate some of their different sandwiches. Every once in a while, I want a sweet sandwich like a peanut butter and jelly, so I'll make one of those. You could do any type of salad. So I love pasta salad, and this is one where I will get like whole grain or protein pasta. This is where I was telling you Barilla has a Protein Plus brand that is great. You can't tell the difference. So I will use that and I will create a pasta salad. But you can do tuna salad, chicken salad, a taco salad, egg salad. There's a lot of different recipes out there that you can get, off Pinterest or Google. There's tons of ideas, but you don't have to, just eat a mixed green salad every day with hardly any toppings on it. You gotta approach a salad with the same type of balanced outlook on it. So if you're gonna eat just a green salad, making sure you have some type of protein on it. So chicken, hard-boiled egg, some type of deli meat. You could do ground beef, things like that to give it some protein, and then adding some extra vegetables on top, or you could even do fruit depending on what type of salad you do. So you want to make sure again that you're not just eating straight vegetables. You want to make sure that you're getting some type of protein on there, and you can even throw whole grains in there. So I've seen people add quinoa to their salads. You could add brown rice, barley, so you can get creative with these things. Power bowls, so this is essentially, like I was mentioning, a burrito bowl earlier. So you could have some type of grain, whatever grain you wanted to do, throw some extra veggies on there, and then top it with a protein and add the flavors. That's where spices, dressings, condiments, herbs, those things are really going to take these meals up a notch for you, so you're not just feeling like you're eating plain food that tastes bland. Bento boxes, so this would be like an adult Lunchable. So you could create your own, again, following the same thing, making sure that it's balanced. So you could do literally some deli meat, cheese, and crackers for a snack, and then add some fruit on the side. That one probably wouldn't be great on its own as just a meal. You might want to make sure you have enough to satisfy you. But again, there's all sorts of bento box ideas online, finding some that you would think you would enjoy. And then leftovers, obviously this one would be a very easy one to do. We utilize this one a lot in our household. So that is pretty much it. We went over why it's important to pack your lunch, what constitutes a healthy lunch, and then some additional ideas for packing a lunch. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. My email is ktam, T-A-M, at logansportmemorial.org. Thank you.